Good afternoon, friends. Today is June 7th. I'm recording this for the next week starting on June 10th, Monday. The first is let's start looking at this S&P futures, which is the E-mini futures. Um, I think the last week I told you that that we were expecting about 1680 was a target. 1680 was 162% of AB. It reached there, and now it was coming back, coming down, and then my target on the lower side was 1590. It was on the based on a couple of reasons. First is, of course, I knew that there may be a potential, the last swing high, which was, if you guys can see this. Let me actually zoom up this one so we can see it a little better. I'm going to zoom up this area. So if you guys can see this, I was expecting this high, which is about just about 1592 and 1593 kind of a price range. And then another thing is we were also looking at this rectangle which I drew. I believe this has happened on May 2nd to yes, May 3rd. Actually, so there was a gap up on May 3rd, and that's the gap which we are trying to look for it for a key support. And that's exactly what happened. If you look at it, the yesterday market came down all the way to this low of a 1596, and then it bounced exactly from that point, and that is within the gap itself. And now it's bouncing it from there, and that itself is a pretty good sign that in market may be in a continuation mode. I think I am little still cautious. I took some positions this week, but I wanted to be say that I traded just both days of these. Yesterday I had a presentation, but today I traded pretty well in the markets too. So here I think the once I saw this reversal sign, I knew that today would be a big up day. That's how I traded from the long side. But what else I'm looking at it is, I think, let me go back and unzoom this here. So one of the thing is which we definitely need to be cautious is we need to make sure that it's actually breaking out of this range, and if it does break out, then we expect much higher than 1680 to for the I guess for the rest of the year. But right now, I don't want it to come back and retrade into this trade. If it does retrade it, it may probably go back and retest this, the lower end of it, which is still I'm thinking that it may be like 1570 and the lower side possible. But otherwise, if it swings up, the next week and it's going to move up. But at this point, I took only few positions, although there's a plenty of stocks out there, which we could have taken positions into it. Now let's move on to the next ones. As I said, gold, I do not have a position in gold, but gold has been incredibly choppy trading. It doesn't look any good. That's the reason I'm just going to wait and completely stay out of gold, to trade it. The another position which I have just taken is the JDSU. JDSU is kind of interesting because JDSU just showing the positive signs of it. In the last couple of weeks, it was quite choppy. I knew that this may be a position which I wanted to take it, and in fact, just today I entered into JDSU. The targets may be between $16 and $17, but it could go even higher. JDSU too. And the next one is the Oracle. Oracle, I do not have a position. I had positions and I closed it. But right now I'm still expecting because it's their earnings are due on June 20th. And the higher positions for mid is between 35 and 36 and a half. And it could go even higher, but that's what is the earnings call and earnings positions it could happen. The next one, I don't have a position in Slumberjay, but this is also looking good. It just triggered on the EL. The first time it went up and I actually didn't even look at the stock at the time. But now I think, if it really continues next time, I think I'll probably start taking trade position into this one too. Then another one is the FedEx. I think we spoke about this last week. It did retrace because I think its earnings are due next June 19th. I think it's like 2 weeks. Close to 2 weeks from now. So the targets on today it went up. I've seen all them $3.10 up at one point. And the target is $105 to $110, and I do have positions in FedEx. Another stock which I wanted to take show you is this C-Trip, which I have closed my position before. If you guys probably remember this, I was only expecting it to reach between this 27 and $28. I think that was my target, but I think now it's trading much above that. It's trading like $34, $35. Let me see if when was the first time I actually called C-Trip. Let's see if I can go back. I believe it's in 513. These are all the calls which I write it down into a spreadsheet, and then I use that to pretty much talk about it type of thing. So I believe, let's see if I call it in April. I believe it's in the first week of May. Let me go and quickly look at there it is. Actually, it's very close to first week. This is the one which I was expecting, that this is on May. If you guys look at this column here, this is a April 29th. I was expecting that it's an ABC. From then it it really went up much higher. The next one is Monster Inc. Monster Inc. has an ABC bullish pattern. I don't have a position into it. As I said, I'm a bit careful with these controversial stocks. But what else it has is, it also has what I call is a inverse head and shoulder pattern, which is actually just broke out. So I guess the higher end targets would be probably between $68 to $71. Next one is my favorite again, Checkpoint Software. Checkpoint is an ABC bullish pattern, but it also actually forming an inverse head and shoulder pattern, which is just about to break the neckline. And if it does break above the neckline, we do expect it to go much higher. I think the targets would be something like $58 to $60 on Checkpoint. Checkpoint's earnings are due on July 18th. Another stock which I wanted to show is a Cisco. Cisco just completed its 162%. It's showing, seems like today on a big up day, or even yesterday, it didn't really rally much. So that itself tells me that there's some kind of a resistance happening. But I also wanted to show Cisco has a Gartley pattern which is forming, which is actually, I think, is a butterfly. Let's see if I can bring it down. Not happening now. There. Yes, fantastic. Here is the Cisco's pattern formation. So as I said, it's reached its the higher end of it. I'm not sure, because there's a big gap a few days ago. So that itself is quite a bit of strength. So I guess let's see when it's Cisco's earnings. Its earnings are not due until August 14th, and Cisco is doing extremely well in the networking sector. So I'm not expecting this to reverse anytime soon. But as you guys know, I do not trade the counter trend moves, so I'm not expecting it to short this stock anytime soon. Now let's look at another one is the Silicon Lab. Silicon Lab is still consolidating, and I did have position and I closed it, but I'm actually waiting for some kind of confirmation in the positive turn in the market, so that way I can go back into Silicon Lab. And then another one is the CMI, which is a Cummins Engines. Let's see if I can do that. Yes. Cummins Engines is also showing a pretty good strength. Then I'm thinking that if the market moves up, this is one of the stock which will actually move up with the stock. And so the stock, the targets is between 126 and $132. The next one is Goldman Sachs. Let's see, Goldman Sachs is just amazing what's going on, and today also it went up by $6. So not only Goldman Sachs, in fact, quite a bit of other financials are doing pretty well too. So I think the targets in this is 164 to 171 is the target range, and I've been talking about Goldman Sachs for quite some time. Unfortunately, I do not have a position in Goldman Sachs. I've traded in the past though. This is the price line. Price line is another stock which is showing incredible strength. I guess the targets and price line is between 881 and 925. Another stock which is kind of a consolidating in the last few days, even though with the market strength, is Intel. Intel also has a similar type of a Gartley pattern as Cisco. But this is for me to even consider trading short, is it needs to trade about $29. So it's a long way to go, which is about $5 from it, and I'm expecting Intel and Cisco to continue trading higher. Morgan Stanley is another one, which is again in the financial sector. It's doing pretty well. The next one is Cena. One of the thing what's happening with Cena is actually breaking out from a lower end of the range, which is kind of a great thing. I don't have a position in Cena. There's a couple of signs of it. One of my parabolic arc is actually triggering that there may be a trade coming up. If you look at it, that's what is happening. It's still at the bottom end of it. This is a, you guys can also call this as like a rounding saucer type of thing. But another pattern which is evolving it is a is this type of a Gartley pattern. But I think from here, as you guys know, that I trade what I call it the half Gartleys rather than trading Gartleys. So I traded from the bullish side of the Gartleys. So this is looking pretty good. So if you look at C-Trip and Cena and Sohu, they're all doing extremely well from the Chinese sector. The next one is General Dynamics. Again, I closed the General Dynamics position too, but it is doing pretty well in General GD. Another one is the Occidental Petroleum. This has an ABC bullish pattern, but it also has what I want to show is a inward side and shoulder pattern too. There's a pattern which is forming it here. I am actually trying a newer software to record it, and I'm hoping that these things are getting recorded. So let's see. The next one is a Microsoft. Microsoft has a weekly ABC bullish pattern, and I close my positions in Microsoft, but I am expecting it to reach between 38 and $41 in Microsoft too. That would be the end of it for this week, guys. Have a great weekend. I am still working on my website, and I had two big presentations over this week, and I'm just done with them. So I'll be working on them this weekend too. So to release them, so it may happen anytime soon. All right, guys. Thanks a lot, and have a great weekend.